UFC Fight Night, Cejudo versus Song, full card prediction, and I'm going to get it started with the fact that we had cancellations like crazy on this UFC Fight Night. Dominic Cruz, Rob Font, Mansur got a new opponent. Rob Font now has a new opponent in John Matsumoto, undefeated Brazilian. Curtis Blades, Rizvan Kuniev moved to UFC 313. Adam Fugitt, Islam Dulatov canceled. Now he's fighting Billy Ray Goff. We had Edson Barboza, Steve Garcia. That is fully off the card. And Ketlin Vieira, Macy Chasson also fully off the card. We have short notice fights, Nursulton, Riziboev, Eric McConico, and short notice fight in, Alonzo Menifield and Julius Walker at light heavyweight. A lot of other short notice fights for one of the opponents, and John Matsumoto stepping in, as well as Billy Ray Goff stepping in. So it's a very weird card, as well as Nick Klein stepping in. This whole card has been switched around and shuffled around. It is a crazy one, but we're going to be predicting every single fight on this UFC Fight Night Seattle. And we got the Burt MMA Gold membership. It includes 5 perks down below in that pinned comment in the comment section. We do have all of my MMA bets, of course, for UFC, for PFL, for GFL. We got a full ranking system for every single UFC fighter. We got the best prospects outside of the UFC, a full list of every single weight class. We have a contact list for you to literally contact UFC fighters on my behalf. That's a crazy perk, as well as early fight news. So some fights that haven't been announced to the public, we got them, ladies and gentlemen. So go become a member. If you have any questions, comment down below. But let's get into this full card prediction. Let's start it up with the light heavyweights. Modestas, Bukauskas, and Raphael Cerqueira in the light heavyweight division. Raphael is 34 years old, almost 35 in about a month. He is going to be the same height as Modestas Bukauskas, not as long as Modestas. Wrestling and grappling is going to be very even between the two guys. The finishing ability probably goes Raphael Cerqueira. I think Modestas has a lot of finishes for sure, but he does have his decision from time to time in the UFC with his Tyson Pedro and Zach Paunga wins, as well as on the regional scene beating Lee Chadwick. So more likely than not, if there's going to be a finish, I'm actually going to say Raphael Cerqueira would be the one getting a finish. I do have this fight going all the way. Even though Cerqueira is coming off a devastating knockout loss, I am rooting for Modestas to go out there and get a knockout in round number 1, round number 2. But I think Raphael will survive this time around. Aslan, just a much powerful puncher than Modestas. I think Raphael survives it, uses his wrestling and grappling to withstand the onslaught of punches from Modestas. Modestas is going to be the more volumist striker. I don't know if that's a word. He throws more volume, has better kicks as well than Raphael. Grappling and wrestling, like I said, is very, very even. I think Modestas defends whatever takedowns come his way, keep this fight on the feet, and just outstrike Raphael Cerqueira. He's faster, and he throws more volume, and he's a better kicker as well. Modestas Bukauskas, I got him winning a 29-28 decision. Nick Klein and Mansur Abdul Malik in the middleweight division. Probably my most confident pick of the card, if we're being honest here. I think Mansur is going to be, obviously, he's taller, he's lengthier, he's a better wrestler, he's a better striker. Really, the only thing going for Nick Klein in this matchup is the grappling. He's got 3 submissions, all rear nakeds, I believe, in his last 3 fights. Round 3 rear naked, round 1 57 seconds, and then a 37-second rear naked on the Contender Series. Mansur knows what's up here. He knows that he's fighting a guy that's going out there looking to submit him. Mansur has never been to a decision. He's never been even to a round number 3. The farthest he went was with Wes Schultz, who was a training partner of Nick Klein as well, and he ground and pound TKO'd him devastatingly in round number 2 right there. Knocked out Dusko in his debut as well. He's a better striker, like I'm saying, better wrestler. He's going to defend the takedowns, keep this fight on the feet, and knock out Nick Klein. Nick Klein, if we look at his only loss in his mixed martial arts career, it was a knockout in round 3. Ground and pound TKO by Dorjan Dokash. I do have Mansur rocking him in round number 2 and getting some ground and pound as well. Mansur, round 2, rock him on the feet, ground and pound TKO. Ricky Simone and Javid Basharat in the bantamweight division. Both guys coming off losses. Javid losing to a very good guy, Ayman Zahabi, who's now ranked in the bantamweight division. Ricky Simone also losing to really good guys. Yadong Song in the main event. Maria Bautista. These are 2 top 10 UFC bantamweights. And then Vinicius Oliveira, who is right outside of the top 15. Height-wise, Javid has the advantage. Reach-wise, surprisingly enough, Ricky has the advantage there. Wrestling goes Ricky Simone. Grappling and jiu-jitsu, neither guy is really amazing at grappling and jiu-jitsu, so I'm going to say pretty even on that front. But again, wrestling goes Ricky. Striking goes Javid. Volume goes Javid. Speed goes Javid. Power might go Ricky Simone. So this is going to come down to, can Ricky go out there and get the takedowns? Can he shoot on Javid enough times to get him down to wearing his gas tank? Because he's new to the UFC. Can he go out there and gas out Javid? It's possible. It is definitely possible. So going to come down to Ricky's takedowns. If he gets them, he probably wins. If he doesn't, probably loses. Javid's got good grappling and wrestling, though. He's shown to get takedowns on Mendonca and Gravely and Trevin Jones and things like that. He's shown good grappling inside of the UFC, so I think he keeps the fight on the feet, and I think he outstrikes Ricky Simone here. He's not going to be dominant like Vinicius Oliveira easily outstruck Ricky Simone on the feet. Mario Bautista was able to easily outstrike him. Yadong Song. I don't think Javid's on the level of any of those three guys, so it's going to be a closer fight than those three. I'm going to go 29-28 split decision. I think this is going to be actually a really, really close fight in the bantamweight division. Nursulton Riziboev and Eric McConico in the UFC middleweight division. Eric is stepping in on short notice. He's supposed to fight on the Tough Enough main event in the middleweight division. Now he got moved a week later to fight Nursulton Riziboev, so he's less taking this on short notice than Nursulton Riziboev, who didn't have any fight scheduled whatsoever, and is stepping in a fight and take on Eric McConico to kind of help save this Seattle-Washington UFC fight night. But I do see this fight kind of staying on the feet for the most part. Eric McConico, again, good power on the feet, good grappling, but I think Riziboev defends whatever takedowns come his way and just keeps this one on the feet. He is kind of the guy that can decide where he wants the fight to go, because I believe if he wanted to, he can make this a wrestling match, but I think he wants to make this a striking match with Eric McConico. He's taller, he's lengthier. I think Eric is going to try to go in and try to knock out Nursulton, and Nursulton's going to counter him with shots straight down the middle, kicks at range, and good punches down the middle. So I think Nursulton, do I want to go decision? I'm going to go knockout. I'm going to go Nursulton Riziboev to catch Eric McConico coming in round number 2. I think it's going to be a nice knockout win here. Nursulton, very powerful, knocked out Bruno Ferreira in his debut, took his O, and then he went out and knocked out Cedriques Dumas. So if he's able to knock out those guys, I think he's able to do the same to Eric McConico. I got this one, knockout win for Nursulton in round number 2. Adam Fugitt and Billy Ray Goff in the welterweight division. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's a pick'em. I think this is a fight that could literally go either way on the judges' scorecards, just like Billy's last fight with Trey Waters. I really did believe could have gone either way. I personally had Billy Ray Goff winning that fight, and that's the same with this one. I think Billy Ray Goff is going to win on the judges' scorecards, 29-28, split decision in a very, very close fight. But am I confident at all in either man here? No, I am not. I know Adam Fugitt is 36 years old, very old for the weight class. Billy's only 26 years old, but Adam is taller, he's lengthier, he has better countering abilities, he's got better kicking ability. Billy's got better volume, better pressure, better pace, better cardio. So it's going to come down to, can Adam land the good counters before Billy's able to get inside of that range? And can Billy defend those counter shots of Adam Fugitt and get in without getting hit? It's a very close fight. I really do believe 3 rounds of striking here. Fight of the night. I've looked at the entire UFC Seattle card, and I really do believe out of every fight, John Silva, Melsik, Baghdasaryan has the best chance to beat him in terms of fight of the night. That's it. I think this is going to be the number 1 or number 2 fight of the night for this card. It's going to be a banger. I think Adam Fugitt has a great chance to go out there and get the win with the countering ability, staying at range, using the height, using the reach. But I think Billy's just going to dog it out, get inside, and make this a war. I got Billy Goff, 29-28, split decision in an absolute banger. Iwan Cutelaba taking on Aibo Aslan in the light heavyweight division. I do believe Iwan Cutelaba, obviously, he's got the experience advantage when it comes to fighting inside of the UFC. He's been in 7 wins, 9 losses, and 1 draw inside of the UFC. He's got some decent wins to definitely look back on. The most notable being the ground and pound TKO win over Khalil Roundtree. Just, bro, crazy win there. Of course, he's lost to a lot of really good guys. Kennedy Nzechukwu, who is a ranked heavyweight. Johnny Walker, top 10 light heavyweight. Ryan Spain, Magomed Ankalaev, Magomed again, Glover Teixeira, Jared Cannonier. I mean, these are some beasts in the UFC. But the one thing with a lot of them, he's getting finished in a lot of these matchups. Submitted in round 1, round 2, round 3. Getting knocked out in round 1 by a few guys here. Like Kennedy and Zichuku. Like Magomed Ankalaev twice in the light heavyweight division. I think this is going to be another scenario of that happening here. Do I think it'll happen in round 1? No, I don't. I think Iwan Cutelaba is going to try to wrestle, going to try to grapple, and make this a dog fight to gas out Ibo Aslan late. I think Ibo is going to crack Iwan Cutelaba early, win round number 1, round number 2. Iwan's going to try to do the same thing, hoping that he can gas out Ibo for round number 3, but I think Ibo cracks him big in round number 2 and knocks him out. So, of course, I think there's a chance this fight goes to a decision. Weirdly enough, that seems weird for me to say since Ibo really didn't have any decisions on his record, but I think there's a good chance Ibo wins round 1, round 2, loses round 3 because Iwan's just got that cardio and that pace late in the fight, and Ibo wins a 29-28 decision. I think that's very, very live here in the light heavyweight division, but I am going to go Ibo Aslan round 2 TKO. Andre Fili taking on Melquizael Costa in the featherweight division. It's a pick'em according to the betting odds. Height and reach going Andre Fili. Striking going Andre. Volume going Andre. Experience going Andre. Kicking ability going Andre. Speed going Andre. The only thing going for Melquizael Costa is, of course, the wrestling and grappling. He's got a good power on the feet for sure, but not really any amazing technical striking. But he's got a good takedown, good grappling, good jiu-jitsu, and a good submission skills. Got the submission on Shaila Nurdanbiak after he gassed him out a little bit in those early rounds with the wrestling and grappling. I think if Melquizael is going to win, it's got to be a finish. He's got to go out there and submit Andre Fili in this fight. If he's not able to submit him, I really don't know how he's going to go out there and win this fight. Because I think Andre, if he's able to defend these takedowns, which I do believe he will, I think he's going to keep it on the feet and outstrike Melquizael Costa to a unanimous decision. Of course, there's a big chance here. Of course, fight ends inside of the distance. If there's going to be a finish, it's going to be Melquizael. He's got good power in his hands, which we don't get to see too much of the time because he's constantly going for the submissions, but he's got 7 knockouts. A lot of people don't like to look at that. Before joining the UFC, he was on a 2-fight knockout streak, round 3, overhand left, and a knockout win on the regional scene outside the UFC. So I really do believe, Andre Fili, his chin is a little iffy, so Melquizael could rock him, get his back, club and sub him in this fight, so that's why this fight is so close, because clearly, if it's a 3-round affair, Andre Fili wins. But if Melquizael Costa is able to make this a little bit gritty, able to land a big shot or two, able to get the back of Andre Fili, he's a very, very, very live fighter to go out there and get the win in what I do believe he will be the underdog in. The odds right now already kind of switching to have Andre Fili is the favorite, so we shall see. Finishing ability goes Melquizael. If it goes to a decision, all Andre Fili. We'll see. Very fun fight here at featherweight. Alonzo Menifield and Julius Walker in the light heavyweight division. I really do want to pick Julius Walker. I'm a fan of him outside of the UFC. I've been watching a lot of his fights on the regional scene. He's 6-0, very tall, very lengthy, a finisher for sure. I don't think he's got a decision win, and he's got all of these 4 wins in the last year. So dude's going to be having 5 fights in 1 year after this fight with Alonzo Menifield. He's got ground and pound TKOs, good submission skills as well. But they're all very, very early on in their fights. Very, very early on. Round 1 is kind of the norm for him in his MMA career. Of course, he got a round 2 finish, a triangle choke armbar against Niall Bartling, who did fight on The Ultimate Fighter as well. But other than that, it's a lot of round 1 finishes. And again, I really want Julius Walker to win because I've been kind of screaming for him to get a shot in the UFC for a while. But this is too big too soon, I feel. This is a big step up in competition from fighting guys like Myron Dennis, Niall Bartling, Bavon Lewis, who are all former The Ultimate Fighter fighters or former UFC fighters. They were all lower level guys, and now he's fighting Alonzo Menifield, a ranked fighter in the light heavyweight division. This is just, I really do feel like too big of a step up. I think Alonzo's got the takedown defense to keep this one on the feet and keep this one standing. Julius can win early on in this fight, but later on as this fight goes, the veteran nature that Alonzo has, if he's able to make this a technical fight, which he didn't do against Carlos Ulberg very well, but if he's able to make this technical and strike with Julius Walker at range, Alonzo can strike with the best of them in the light heavyweight division, and I do believe he will outstrike Julius Walker. We haven't seen Julius late. Round 2, round 3, we haven't really seen Julius Walker there. So I think Alonzo's very much looking forward to make this fight a later fight, a longer fight towards the later rounds of this light heavyweight matchup. I think Alonzo Menifield wins this one in the later rounds by TKO. Julius wins round 1, Alonzo wins round 2, and I'm going to go Alonzo Menifield round 3. Not good. Again, if Julius Walker is taking on a Marcin Prachnio, I got Julius winning. He's 100% UFC caliber. This is just a little bit too much for me, in my opinion. So I got Alonzo by round 3, TKO. John Silva and Melsik Baghdasaryan in the featherweight division. This is not a minus 500 fight. I will say that immediately. John Silva got his wins in the UFC. Kevin Vallejos, Weston Wilson, Charles Jourdain, Drew Dober. I would venture to say, legitimately venture to say, Melsik Baghdasaryan is a better striker than Weston, than Charles, than Dober, than Kevin Vallejos. This is a harder striking match for John Silva than any of those other matchups. I really do believe. John had the speed advantage over Drew Dober. He had the power and the striking advantages over Kevin Vallejos, Weston Wilson, and Charles Jourdain. With Melsik, he's kind of going on against a fighter who's taller, who's lengthier, who's got similar kickboxing skills. He's got similar speed, similar volume, kicking and punches. Just the only thing, John has the power here. Again, this is a way closer fight than the odds are saying this fight is going to be. Not going to be any wrestling, not going to be any grappling. This is going to be a striking match at 145 pounds that I do actually think goes to a decision here. I think the factor that's going to get John Silva the win is going to be the power. Melsik's got good volume, good kicks, good punches, got good defense himself. But John is just going to crack with much harder punches. Kicks as well. John is very good with the kicks. Melsik is also very good with the kicks. But I think it's going to come down to the big punches that John Silva lands. And I think John is just the more powerful guy here. I think it's going to be a 29-28. Very close decision here in the UFC featherweight division. It's very close. Should you be parlaying John Silva? No, you should not. This is way closer of a fight between two very high-level strikers. Melsik is 2-1 in the UFC. Got a knockout win. Beat Tucker Lutz unanimously. Beat Bruno Souza unanimously with the strike. And only lost to Cutelaba because he got wrestled. He's never been outstruck. So we shall see. But I'm going to go John Silva by unanimous decision. Rob Font and John Silva at a catchweight of 145 pounds. In short notice, Rob Font originally supposed to fight Dominic Cruz in the co-main event. Now John Silva, undefeated, was supposed to fight Chris Gutierrez at UFC 313. Now he's stepping in on short notice to take on Rob Font. Now this is a close one, ladies and gentlemen. Height and reach, going Rob Font. Boxing and striking, going Rob Font. Volume, going Rob Font. Power, going Rob Font. Cardio, going Rob Font. Wrestling, going John Matsumoto. Rob Font is very good. He lost to Davison Figueiredo and Corey Sandhagen because they were able to mix in a takedown or two. But they're also able to keep the striking very even. Corey Sandhagen is not going to go out there and dominate Rob Font on the feet. It's a close striking match. Davis and Rob Font, it's a close striking match, but he was able to win. They were able to beat Rob Font by mixing in a little bit of wrestling. If it's not a close striking match with here, John Matsumoto, Rob Font, it's not a close striking match. Rob clearly has the advantage as John is getting outstruck at portions of the Brad Katona fight. Imagine if that's Rob Font. But John Matsumoto can mix in takedowns. But it's not going to be an even striking match. So it's not like it's very even. And the takedown sealed the deal to get John Matsumoto the win. Because Rob Font is a significantly better striker. Taller, lengthier, powerfuler, if that's a word. More volume, more experience, better cardio. I can go on and on about Rob Font here. I think this is going to be an underdog win. It's 50-50 on Tapology. Rob Font is a dog on the betting odds. I got Rob Font. I think he's going to defend most of the takedowns. I think John will land one or two to make this a close fight. 29-28, but I think the advantage that Rob has on the feet is going to make up for any takedowns and a little bit of control that John Matsumoto will have on the ground. I got Rob Font by a unanimous decision. Anthony Fluffy Hernandez taking on Brendan Allen in the co-main event of UFC Seattle. Brendan coming off his first loss in a while to a very good guy in Nasruddin Imavov. He was able to out-wrestle and out-grapple Imavov early in round number 1. Then he gassed out a little bit in those later rounds. I do believe here, stylistically, it's just not a good matchup. It's not a good matchup. Neither guy is an amazing striker, so it's not like they could just say, oh, let's strike for 3 rounds, and one guy is going to easily outstrike the other on the feet. So there's going to be wrestling here. On the feet, it's going to be very, very even until Fluffy starts to shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot and just ground and pound galore. Submission attempts over and over and over on Brendan Allen here. I just think Anthony Hernandez is going to do more. That is the main thing. I don't believe Brendan Allen is going to fully gas out. It's a 3-round fight. It's hard to gas your opponent out there. I don't believe he's going to fully gas out round 3. Oh, Anthony's going to freaking see a deer in the headlights and get the takedown and ground and pound him easily. And I don't think Allen's going to gas out like that in this matchup. I just believe Fluffy's going to do more. On the feet, Fluffy's going to throw more volume. On the clinch, he's going to throw more knees and punches to the body. With the wrestling, he's going to do more with the wrestling. He's going to attempt more submissions. He's going to attempt more ground and pound. I think that's, it's not like Fluffy's better. It's not like he's a better striker. It's not like he's a better wrestler, a better grappler. It's just he does more. I really do believe that's going to be the factor here. That Fluffy does more. Throws more, attempts more submissions, attempts more punches and ground and pound and kicks and everything. And that's going to be the factor. Just the fact that he's always going. Allen isn't really that guy. He gets a takedown and he's not going for ground and pound for minutes. Fluffy's going to be going for ground and pound. Whether he's on bottom, he's on top, he's in the clinch. Not ground and pound, but you get what I mean. So I think that's going to be what gets him the win here. Height and reach pretty similar. Age pretty similar. Fluffy's on a crazy, crazy win streak, beating Josh Fram, Mark Andre by finish, Edmund Shabazi by ground and pound TK, Roman Kopylov by submission, and then Michel Pereira. So he's already got 2 ranked wins in the middleweight division. About to get another here. I think he wins it. 29-28. I think Allen might win a round. It'd have to be round number 1. 29-28, 30-27. A little mix of that on the judges' scorecards. But overall, Fluffy Hernandez, unanimous decision. Henry Cejudo, Yadong Song in the bantamweight division. I got Yadong Song winning this fight. He is more than a decade younger, which is crazy. Crazy. He is a decade younger than Henry Cejudo. He's 4 inches taller than Henry Cejudo. And the reach is the same. I don't understand. Henry's got a very freakishly long reach for his height. Or Yadong has a really, really short reach for his height. But yeah, they're about the same reach. Yadong is taller. He's more powerful on the feet. He's got the better boxing. He's a lot younger. He's got the better chin than Henry Cejudo. Cardio-wise, they're both good. They're both got good cardio. It's going to come down to can Cejudo, throughout 5 rounds, keep this as even as possible on the feet. That's it. Can he make this fight 1 or 2 strike differential in the striking and mix in a few takedowns? He's not going to outstrike Yadong. He's not. That's out of the table here. If this is a 5-round striking affair, Yadong Song is outstriking Henry Cejudo. He throws more power, he lanes more volume, better boxing. He's very, very good. He's going to win all the early rounds there. Some of the later rounds, he's probably going to 49-46 Henry if it's a straight striking affair. But when Henry starts to mix in a little bit of takedowns, a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of grappling, it starts to narrow the gap. It starts to drain a little bit on the Yadong Song striking gas tank. Because when you wrestle, when you mix that in, your punches become a little bit more labored. So Henry needs to wrestle early, and he needs to wrestle often in the early rounds. I think Yadong Song wins round 1, wins round 2. I think Henry Cejudo wins round 5. And I think round 3, round 4 are going to be those deciding rounds. Or will Henry have worked on the gas tank enough on Yadong Song with the wrestling? And will Yadong still have enough in the gas tank to really keep going forward? He's never been... he's been in 5-round fights, but he hasn't been in with a super, super high-level guy like Henry Cejudo. The 5-round fights he has been in, Corey Sandhagen, that went to round 4, and he was starting to slow a little bit. Ricky Simone, that went to round 5. Chris Gutierrez, Chris isn't really making this a high-paced fight. Ricky Simone, he was trying to make it a high-paced fight, and we did see Song Yadong getting a little bit slower in those later rounds as well, but he still was able to look good in those later rounds. So he slowed down a little bit in those later rounds, but he's still able to land good power, good punches. So it's going to be hard. Yadong's got great cardio, and that's a tough thing for Cejudo when he's smaller and he's got the better wrestling, but he's got a significant disadvantage in the striking. He's got to wrestle and hope Yadong slows down a little bit, which he will, but Yadong still carries his power late. He still has good power late in the fight. He still hits hard and throws good punches late in the fight. It's a little bit worse than earlier on, but he still throws good punches. That being said, I think Yadong Song wins round 1, wins round 2, loses round 3 or round 4, and then wins one of those rounds as well. And then Cejudo wins the last round. I'm going to go 48-47. I think Cejudo is alive here, but he's got to really make Yadong work in round 1, round 2. He's got to like full on go ham on Yadong Song. Make this a gritty pace that Yadong Song has to go for. And Ricky Simone kind of did that. Ricky Simone made it a very high-paced fight. Yadong slowed a little bit, but he still carried power. So, again, even if Henry's able to gas him out a little bit, how is he going to be able to capitalize? Because to be able to capitalize, he's still got to come forward on Yadong Song. And Yadong, like I'm saying, is still powerful, even when he's tired. So Yadong, still, even when Cejudo puts in all that work to gas out Yadong Song, make his striking slower, he still has power to throw back at you. Henry's still going to come forward, and Yadong's going to be still throwing big hooks right back at him. So I'm going to go Yadong to win this one. It should be a fun one. Should be a very fun main event. 5 rounds. I don't think anyone gets finished. Cejudo has gotten to a decision his last 2. Sterling and Merab, 2 former champions in the UFC bantamweight division. When is the last time he's been finished? Demetrius Johnson back in 2016. So I think this fight goes all the way. Yadong Song by unanimous decision. That is my full card prediction. I got Yadong Song in the main event. Anthony Hernandez. Rob fought as my underdog. John Silva. Alonzo Menifield. Andre Fili in a pick'em at 145 pounds. Ibo Aslan. Billy Ray Goff barely. Nursulton Riziboev. Javid Basharat barely. Mansur Abdul Malik. And Modestas Bukauskas. That is the full card prediction. Of course, if you do want to see all the bets we are making for this card, check out that Burt MMA Gold membership down below in that pinned comment. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in the next one.